There are few channels that date back to 2009 and fewer with a reputation as jagged as OnlyUsemeBlade. OnlyUsemeBlade was a content creator who made his fame by playing a game called Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. However, Blade is under an attack of a different kind. If you search his name, a plethora of videos discussing his health, history and controversies will show up before his channel does. His story is one of sadness, loneliness and an insidious nature. So, who is OnlyUsemeBlade, or Brian Rizzo? And how did he become a part of a network where nothing is true, where everything, if you look into it, has a dark undertone? How did Blade become the jester of a warped reality?
Missing someone.
Perfect game, perfect game. OnlyUsemeBlade has got a perfect, never before seen 19-0 flawless victory for you. On the team
Blade released his first video on April the 9th, 2009, titled OnlyUsemeBlade Broadcast. In the video and videos later to come, he would use a capture card. This would separate him from other Call of Duty channels at the time. It didn't take long for Blade to insert his own commentary over the gameplay. On April the 28th, he released his first video using a microphone, adding in jokes and explaining his thought process behind certain things he did, where, in older videos, you could hear people talking over game chat. Now, for the first time, Blade would talk to the audience directly. Other creators started to pop up with varying levels of success. Channels like Dr. Disrespect and Wings of Redemption all followed a similar format of video. Call of Duty commentary was beginning to get big. Blade's videos, however, stood out from the crowd. His shtick was playing the game only using a knife, claiming he was too good at the game and had to give himself a handicap, thus prompting the name OnlyUsemeBlade. This would garner a lot of views at the time and was well received within the community, not just amongst viewers but creators alike. His videos would display impressive feats that he had achieved in the game, while also giving everyone a glimpse into how Blade actually was as a person. His personality was being favoured as much as his gameplay itself. It seemed Brian had found an original recipe for YouTube success. Sometime in late 2009, he was offered a contract by Machinima, which at the time was the 6th most subscribed channel on the platform. Having his videos shared with Machinima not only grew his channel exponentially, but also allowed him, for the first time, to be paid. Blade quit his job installing home theatres on late 2010, and around the same time he was fired from his job as a bouncer for, as Blade puts it, the manager's daughter hitting on him. Now, given his track record of mistruths, it's questionable whether this should be taken at face value.
There's a situation where I was in the back cooler, like grabbing a keg for the bartenders, and she came back with her and she was just like all like trying to be seductive and stuff. I'm like, you're the owner's daughter and you're like 21 years old. Like
legal. I'm just saying she's legal.
Completely legal. No, she's completely legal. But what I'm saying is just like your life experience isn't at my life experience, so we're not going to have anything to talk about. And you're the owner's daughter. If things go wrong and you get moved, I lose a job. So I left it at that.
This allowed him to further pursue his YouTube career, where his popularity was only increasing. Blade met other COD commentators like White Boy 7th Street and Woody's Gamertag, but most notable was Daniel Keem, better known at the time as DJ Killer Keemstar.
Fuck 007, I'm gonna give you 00 heaven, baby.
But we'll come back to him. Blade was rising in popularity, doing collaborations with some of the biggest creators on the website, and was a regular guest on Painkiller already, better known as PKA. PK was the only well-established podcast on YouTube at the time, and was the proper gathering place for the community. It almost acted as a hub for content creators of a similar nature.
Hello everyone, my name is C. Nanners, and I have a guest with me today. Sir, if you would be so kind as to introduce yourself and tell the people who you are.
Sure, Adam. What's up, guys? It's OnlyUsemeBlade here, and like the name says, all I do is I shank people when I play Call of Duty.
First off, before I start this, I gotta say that no homo. I love you guys.
I heard of it. Yeah.
Jaws comes in. Ballistic knife.
Because somebody has 1,000 subs and I have 30,000 subs doesn't make me better than them.
In 9 months of being on YouTube, Blade had accumulated 30,000 subscribers, which, at the time, was a very big achievement. Blade was getting more adjusted to being on camera. The first time his audience saw his face was in a video in which he's announcing his new website and shirts. In May of 2011, he created a video titled Mother's Day Chat with Mum, where his mum answers some questions given by the viewers. The video is in good nature and revealed interesting details about Blade's life. One of the most notable details, however, is when his dad becomes a part of the discussion. In this, you can see how Blade's mum becomes uncomfortable and doesn't divulge more. The rest of the video is in good nature and shows his healthy relationship with his mum.
That's my mom. This is OnlyUsemeBlade's mom. And this is Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day.
Thank you, dear.
I love you.
I love you too. And some of you have asked, and I will tell you that Brian's dad passed away when he was 5 years old, and it was a different. I'm not going to go into this. We can cut this part out. I don't want to talk about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Blade broke up with his girlfriend and 5 minutes later received a call from Keemstar asking him to join an event called the Billionaires Tournament.
No, Keemstar, thank you. Tell UsemeBlade, Wings of Redemption, Woody's Game Attack, and White Boy 7th Street. I'm sorry, there's nothing that I can do about it. Thank you very much, and I'll see them soon. Yes? Goodbye, Keemstar. My name is Alki David, and I am the billionaire who issued the $10,000 challenge at the last Battle Cam Bowl gaming event.
In 2011, a billionaire called Alki Davis hosted a Call of Duty tournament where all the COD commentators would compete for a cash prize of $10,000. This was the first tournament ever hosted by Alki Davis and was one of the most prestigious events to be invited to, as you had to have a large following and be good at the game. Even though Blade didn't win, he still only used knives throughout the tournament, staying true to his channel and what his new career was built off. He received a lot of exposure due to it being one of the biggest COD tournaments of the year. His friendship with Keemstar would blossom. Keemstar started on YouTube making videos for a group called the Federation of Asshole Gamers, abbreviated to FAG.
F-A-G. Let me hear you say it. F-A-G. One more time now. F-A-G. Yeah. Federation of Asshole Gamers.
But later went on to be the host of a channel called Drama Alert, where, depending on who you talk to, would discuss issues and drama on the internet, but mostly centered around YouTube. Keem would talk fondly of different times he spent with Blade. They made videos together and started a podcast called The Bad Kid Show, which did very well at the time. The two of them would make videos together, and Keem's internet stardom would help Blade's channel grow, even though they never intended on helping each other's career. In the purest way, they just wanted to have fun. Blade even moved houses closer to Keem's to hang out with him more, and record more videos together. Blade also claims to helping Keem forged the concept of Drama Alert. Everything was looking up for Blade, but little did he know he had reached his apex, and as the COD commentary scene became stale, Blade attracted a new audience, and one with a much more destructive complexion. In a video titled OnlyUsemeBlade Setup Vid, released in October 2010, a good portion of what was supposed to be a video displaying his new flat and gaming setup is taken up by Blade preparing and drinking a Jaeger bomb. Another video titled OnlyUsemeBlade Drunk Getting Black Ops 2 shows Blade being loud and obnoxious, saying things like, "I've got a big cock and I stab people." This highlights early on a huge issue to come. Although the date isn't pinned down, around 2011 Blade started streaming to a website called Twitch.com, a streaming platform which was hardly competed against by other streaming services. and was universally regarded as the best place to livestream. The streams appear to not be out of the ordinary, but shows Blade interacting with his fans. But as time went on, the streams began to reveal a disturbing fact about Blade. His streams would often be called Jaeger Time Drunk Hype Level Critical, or different variations of that, and would no longer revolve around Blade playing games. Instead, the viewers would pay $15 for Blade to take a shot. This would result in Blade getting blackout drunk. It was clear to everyone that Blade was an alcoholic, and now was able to make a very good amount of money from drinking. His fans wanted to see him intoxicated, because it would drive him to spout racial slurs and do irresponsible things. In a video titled Hello from the Sauna, uploaded to his second channel, named Blade Plays, the video is of Blade thanking his audience for allowing him to have a lifestyle where he can focus on his health, but this didn't last long. On the 17th of September, Blade did a Friday night drunk stream, but this time everything would go too far. Blade had 2 girls on the stream with him in the call, but the one we're focusing on is Ellie. Blade would reference her a lot. I'm not personally sure if they were in a relationship or not, but Blade made it very clear numerous times that he wanted to be. The stream went on for a few hours until it got really bad. Blade fell and cut his leg open to the point where there was blood everywhere. It actually got so bad that his head moderator of his streams, called Something Toxic, rang Blade up to tell him to stop the stream. All archives are wiped, but thanks to the multiple channels built around making compilations and documenting his failures, the last part of the night, or one that is very similar, is able to be found.
What is your feelings on global appropriation?
I don't know what the fuck that is, and I don't know what the fuck. I don't even know what you're saying.
What I'm saying though, Steph Jade, is what is your stance on black people?
What? I love black people.
Lover.
Huh, and you go and say that word. Amazing. Jesus Christ. That's a bit too much. If I leave, will he be able to, if I leave, he'll leave. So I should leave. Because if I leave, he'll try to call me back like fucking 600 times, and then... Okay. I'm gonna leave, because then he'll leave. Okay, bye. Bye.
This N-word... Fucking Fucking Who the fuck are you?
Blade, you need to end the stream, like, right now, dude. I know that sounds...
You need it in your fucking faggot-ass mouth.
Brian.
Hello, babe.
You go to bed, yeah? Bedtime.
A day later, Blade released Time for a Change on his YouTube channel, a 30-minute long video where he discusses with the viewer about how the streams are starting to show Blade in a negative light. He talks about the racial slurs and said they don't reflect his views and he wouldn't normally do or say these things. He states he can't watch the streams back because they're too uncomfortable. Blade goes into his personal life, saying that he's lost a lot of friends and relationships to booze. The video turns into Blade giving more reasons why he should stop, and talks about how it affects him and the people around him. At the end, Blade says he's going to focus on his help, and all he needs to do is just stop.
Just gotta do it. You know? You just gotta do it. I have to make that change, and my promise as a relationship from me to you as a viewer is I'll make that change. Because I don't want you to sit back and be like, fuck, dude, now Blade's just a drunk. You know? Blade's just a fucking fat, fucking obnoxious drunk. And I don't want to let you down relationship-wise. I don't want any of my actual relationships in the real world being affected anymore by this. You know how many awesome people that just completely wrote me off? And rightfully so. I'm not saying they're bad for that. I would have done the same thing. Yeah. So, just gotta change. I'm moving in like a week. New place, new beginnings. And if you're still around, thank you. And to reward you with that, I'm going to be a better, more advanced version of the person that you knew before. And just to better myself. So, OnlyUsemeBlade. Peace and fuckeries.
That was released in 2015. The irony of this video is, it exemplifies the newly formed relationship between him and his fans. This growing reputation that Blade wants to move away from is the only reason why his new fans still tune in. They want to see, in his words, a fat, lazy drunk. Because they want someone to laugh at. They want a fool to point the finger at, and Blade willingly leans into this, even though he doesn't want to. Blade would sink further and further into alcoholism, but was getting paid to do so. He was using racial slurs more, and his friends would later abandon him as they start to notice a kink in his soon-to-be radical behaviour. But this is just one example of how Blade would claim to be becoming better, only to eventually relapse. His new fan base would often call his streams boring while he was sober. This led to his chat donating large sums of money at a time to watch him relapse.
Powered by Twitch. There you go. Okay, sorry. Tactical nuke! Make it take bleach! With the 250! What? Alright, 1 second. Make it take bleach, you are a legend, friendo. I haven't drank in a while, so it's only going to be a double right now. We're just going to have a good night with some Jaeger. Powered by Twitch. Shots, everybody. All right. Woo, here we go. Ah! Bro, I fucking love Jaeger. I'm sorry. It's the greatest thing ever. If you don't like Jaeger, fuck you. I know I said wait for the game mode, but 250, I'm going to take a shot for my boy, all right? We're not doing donations for shots, but we're going to celebrate the hypeness. So this is shot number 3. Ah. Oh, he did it too! He had it ready! He had it ready! Let's go! Big news! If you honestly don't want to be here, like Jeremy HD, I get it. I'll fuck with you, bro. All right, we're taking a triple Jaeger bomb for that. Holy shit, bro. Hi, Logan. Hi.
Stream comes to an end when Blade passes out. This marks a shift in Blade's audience, who would once watch him play Call of Duty, to wanting to see him reveal a different side to himself. This also shows for the first time how Blade would submerge himself into a different world, one that revolves around playing the fool, and a world that he would eventually drown in. Blade was banned on Twitch, Blip.tv and StreamMe, forcing himself to stream on YouTube instead. He was banned on Twitch for this.
Well, Word up, 2 for 5, some niggas got garbage down the way. Word up. Ass click and went all out. Catching keys from Broad Sea.
Even though this seems like the lowest point he could get, somehow the reality TV show that is Blade's life got worse. From this point on, things get very messy. Blade's alcoholism has clearly taken its toll on Blade's mental and physical health, as well as his general addiction. But before this, we have to talk about a few things that got him to this point.
Hey, Blade, we got a donation.
Hi, Blade. My dad died
It's a very sad
Can
one.
you please be quiet and dedicate 30 seconds to his favorite
He
song?
wants a 30-second
Please
silence.
take off your hat.
He wants to take off your hat. For his 30-second silence. Ah, look at the top of his head.
Y'all some f***ed up boys. Yeah, they got me. I love you guys.
What do you think you can provide living with me?
Rent.
You're a better fuck.
Ice Poseidon is a Twitch streamer who made his fame from something called IRL streaming. IRL streaming stands for in real life, a genre of streaming which would consist of people streaming their day-to-day lives, and more often than not, something will happen due to stalkers being able to see where they are, or talking to random people in the street.
Can you hear me?
Hi.
The door's open, yo. What's good, man?
The door's open.
It is.
And you just walk in.
I rang the doorbell so much. People who say just come in.
You don't just walk in someone's house and they don't answer the door, dude.
I don't know, dude. People just said like walk in. I'm like, is the door open? Fuck it, dude. And I just walked
Ice
in.
popularized the genre and made his own network called IP2, and the tag of his community is CX. Keemstar introduced Blade to Ice and a few of the CX members. Some time passes and Ice sends a tweet out asking the community who should live in his mansion in Florida. A lot of the community, audience and creators alike asked for Blade to be a part of it. Ice interviewed Blade live on stream to see if he was deemed fit for the spot in the house.
What happens? The thing that worries me, Blade, is that one day you're gonna hit the mistake.
What's the mistake?
One day you're gonna hit the mistake.
What's the mistake?
And then when you hit the mistake, it's gonna make it awkward to live with you.
What's the mistake?
The mistake can be anything. I don't know what the mistake is. You don't know what the mistake is. No one knows what the mistake is until it happens. But when it happens, everyone knows.
Members of CX would also live in the mansion, as well as some random creators. This is where Blade is introduced to streaming. This meant that he would drink more and his view on reality would be twisted. Things that you or me would find extraordinary start to become normalized. Blade's view on normal behavior, friends, and content would shift drastically. Skip to 2018, and Blade is still drinking, except now with more people. He became part of the CX community and the IP2 network, a network Ice Poseidon at this point has already set up. It would allow Ice's friends to grow and make a name for themselves under his wing. Ice Poseidon was one of the pioneers of IRL streaming, a genre on Twitch that was growing exponentially. Blade at this time was on and off living at the CX mansion. Others like Greek God and Andy Milonakis, who is currently 44 years old, would do a similar thing. This would enable Blade more. His drinking was the only thing paying his rent, and he was showing no signs of stopping. In a livestream hosted around 2019, this man who looks like a human equivalent of a well-groomed rat is shown encouraging Blade to drink Jaeger. When Blade doesn't want to, he explains why, but this man just keeps on pushing relentlessly.
Because I can't drink Jaeger, dude. I made promises to myself. Dude, I made promises to myself not to drink Jaeger, dude. I know how I get if I fucking get Jaeger after drinking, dude. We have plenty of vodka. We don't need Jaeger, dude.
Call Jeezer. Call Jeezer. Call Jeezer. Call Jeezer. Call Jeezer. I want to actually get his personally, bro. I got this for Blade. This is Jaeger hype. You want to know is I hope he doesn't hate me that I'm gonna fucking feed this guy some straight Jaeger.
Dude, I mean, I love Jaeger, guys, but it's just not good for your boy, especially after drinking.
It's for you guys. This is for you guys, though. Like, guys, we're doing fire sales. It's strictly, if any fire sale comes through, it's coming out of this bottle. We still have this whole one just to sip on. But, guys, any fire sale coming through, we got this. This motherfucker.
Do you at least have Red Bull?
I got Red Bull. Yeah, I got Red Bull. Back, bro.
I love Jägermeister. I fucking love it, dude. It is the greatest drink on earth. It gets me so unbelievably fucked up, and I have a great time, and it hits my little kid feels, dude. But, like, I'm trying to be an adult and, like, drink vodka like an adult and, like, do my stream and do that stuff, dude. And I know if I get Jaeger, dude, I'm going to be fucking completely retarded. And
eventually, Blade gets smashed, and Massive Quiff tries to get his girlfriend to kiss Blade, but understandably, she's not into it.
This guy is a legit cock. He says it's a joke because he likes to tease and build it up.
Hell yeah!
The finale will be Paige getting blacked for the content. Haha, nice joke by the way, Blade crap. Her back and take a Jaeger bomb.
Take a Jaeger bomb. Alright. No?
No.
Alright.
No, I'll do a vodka shot.
Exactly. Do a vodka shot.
Anyway, this is an example of how people started to use Blade in a twisted way to gain views and notoriety. Blade's reckless behaviour only strengthens. Being surrounded by people whose catchphrase could be "for the content" might have enabled him and made drinking more justified. While being in the CX mansion, he almost starts a fight with Ice Poseidon's moderator, pisses in a chair. He starts becoming known for being blackout drunk to the point where he passes out with his trousers around his ankles. It's so common that no one bats an eyelid, and that's just a few of the things that happened. Blade was already known for being sexually aggressive towards women, but the more he drank, the more disconnected he became from social norms. The groping happened more and more, and was almost to be expected of him. Compilations of Blade groping women were posted in his chat and are memed within his community, but nobody of notoriety cared enough about him to make a video on this subject while it was at its peak. While this trend continued, after he left the CX mansion, it was at this period of time it was at its summit. Depending on which side of the coin you're on, one good thing did come out of living in the CX mansion. I don't know how this came to be, but Ice Poseidon, Andy Milonakis, and the previously spoken about Keemstar decided to hold an intervention for Blade. Why they decided to film it is totally beyond me. To me, filming something as serious as this dilutes it and takes away from the severity of the message. So Andy says some strong words about it, Keem also does, and Ice tries, but he becomes somewhat useless in this situation.
Alrighty, Blade, we have issues, we have concerns. Blade, we care about you. We actually do. I mean, I think you're cool. That's why I invited you to come here. I think you're fucking awesome. But dude, the fucking drinking is, I mean, I don't think the drinking's like bad, but it's how you are when you're drunk. But I don't know, if you can't control yourself, then you should find something else.
Okay.
And I mean, I've never done intervention before, so I don't really know what else to say other than stop fucking getting so wasted, but
I feel like if nobody does this, or at least gives it a try, it's just going to continue day in and day out, day in and day out. When you see the level of fuck to the extreme and just justifying it, like, you know, like, oh, I guess I'll wear a fucking adult diaper or
that
this.
That was a joke, by the way.
Okay.
That's not...
But you got to kind of start, like, looking at yourself and being like, do I really want to be like this all the time? You know?
I mean, Blade, you're a really good guy when you're not drunk. Like a sweetheart. Really nice to everybody, understanding. But, you know, these past, what, has it been 2 weeks? Like when you first got here, you went fucking hard 10 days in a row. And you're like, no, I don't ever feel hungover. But I think you're at the point where I don't think you understand what it feels to be hungover anymore. Your body's just used to it at this point. They don't even feel it anymore. Like, what's the difference between drinking and not drinking? When you're not drinking, your body's in that kind of like state of like, fuck, I haven't drank and it hurts. But you don't even like feel the difference, do you? I mean,
Blade, I've known you forever. You're my homie. I fucking love you.
Keem's been tell me to fucking knock it off for fucking years.
For way too long, and I've done more than just tell you. I flew you out to my house for, 30, 45 days? You didn't drink one drop, paid for all types of health shit to get you fucking fixed, room and board, everything, and then the minute you left my house, you went back home and did a drug stream.
No, I was sober for 5 months from that. I was literally sober for 5 months.
I don't think that's true, because I saw a drunk stream relatively right after.
No, that's not true. I was sober for about 5 months.
Now after this is where my quarrels start to arise. Ice and his clan start to mock the whole situation and make a joke out of it, before giving Blade shrooms. Before I go on, I feel like I should say, shroom therapy is a real thing, and is meant to help break addiction and overcome depression, but it's the environment in which he's doing them. Everybody is laughing and joking. Don't get me wrong, I don't think you should act somber after everything, but it's the way in which the whole thing happens. It feels like Andy and Keem, to an extent, said some heartfelt and genuine things to Blade about how his drinking needs to stop, but then to record Blade while he's on shrooms seems a bit on the nose to me and very sensationalist, which contradicts what they said. In my opinion, apart from Andy, at this point, none of these guys are good people. At the height of everyone's concern is the confirmation of good content. At this point onwards, this is a reoccurring theme. Everybody exploits Blade's addiction for content. They enable and don't really do anything to stop Blade's drinking, and then, when he's out of his mind, they wait for the funny to happen. Whether that's Blade groping women, pissing himself, or starting a fight, this generates a lot of views. It's a twisted group that causes problems for each other in an attempt to generate clicks and views. I'm not in any way saying Blade isn't responsible for his actions, he 100% is, but you have to step back and think to yourself, are his friends helping, and if not, why? By late 2018, Blade has fully sunk into the world of streaming. Back then, if you were friends with Ice, or part of the IP2 network, it showed a certain level of success. Brian Rizzo has become OnlyUsemeBlade, a drunk whose fans are slowly killing him.
I mean, when you quit alcohol, you can't just have a sudden stop like a cliff. It has to be a steady slope down to zero like a mountain. 2 weeks sober, time to celebrate.
Yeah, there you go.
And who is surrounded by toxic people. Blade and everyone around him, like Ice, are so invested in streaming, they become out of touch with reality. Instead, theirs is centered around getting content and will do almost anything to achieve this. As this documentary goes on, we'll see more examples of this, and we'll see how everyone has a hidden agenda and are willing to ruin each other for a quick buck. This is how Blade drowns in a world where nothing is true, where the only real person is Brian, yet he's the one in the most desperate position. Daniel Keem, better known as Keemstar, loved Blade's drunken antics. He talked fondly of the times Blade got so drunk his trousers fell down and he pissed on himself. But one thing crossed the line. Blade did a lot of questionable things, and in a later PKA podcast, Blade said that Keem would call him up in the morning, and by the sounds of things, tell him off. So what was it that crossed the line? It wasn't when Blade fingered his biggest fan's wife, even after her husband saw what happened. It wasn't his growing reputation for starting fights with random people. It was a situation to do with a dog. It was this.
Me, the drama, people suing me.
Alright, let's go.
I didn't like his fucking love.
Okay. I'm trying to be on Twitch.
No, I don't care about being on Twitch, dude. No, that's a fucking dog, dude. You can't fucking throw a dog, dude. What are you talking about, dude? Don't fucking do that, dude. That's not cool.
That was gnarly, dude.
Don't fucking do that.
That was pretty
What
gnarly,
just happened, dude. That's not cool.
I didn't see it.
We're homies and shit like that, dude. You can't fucking do that.
After that, Keem, Blade's best friend, a friendship that spanned over the course of years, ended. If what Blade is saying is true, which I personally believe, Blade bought a house next to Keemstar's. Blade knew Keem's family, and they looked out for each other, not only as content creators, but as friends. This leaves him with no one that truly cares for him. He's constantly being used, He's been encouraged to drink and relapse by the people around him and his fans. This is a lonely man who appears to have reached rock bottom, but things are about to take a much darker turn.
I respect what they're doing. I really do, but it's just the way they're conducting it is extremely irresponsible, and someone's gonna get hurt.
Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh, honey, though our friendship ceases from now on. Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh, honey, though our friendship ceases from now on.
2019. Although I'm unaware when the RV trip started, they really got hectic by the 5th one. Ice started his RV trip around May 2018 and had very popular people on the trip. Creators like Anything for Views and Sam Pepper were all a part of it. Ice tried to give the trip some structure and put some thought into where they'd go and what they'd do. This led Blade, Bjorn and a few other streamers to embark on their own trips. And although I can't find when the first one happened, by March of 2020, Scuffed RV Trip 5 finished. To shine a bit of light on Blade's situation, around this point, Blade has huge gashes over his leg. This is the result of untreated diabetes. His toe was so bad it got fused to his sock. This led to a very uncomfortable video to watch. The diabetes were caused by drinking and will probably lead to having at least one of his legs amputated. This might be the reason why Blade doesn't go to the doctors. He also wears nappies or diapers for anyone who isn't British. The RV trips consist of Blade and his posse going around America getting smashed, going into bars and casinos, all while picking up girls and bringing them back to the RV. They also meet up with friends like Mexican Andy. This gentleman is called Bjorn, Blade's best friend, and he becomes a very important person later on. I'll be getting into how Blade lost everyone's respect while simultaneously launching his notoriety into the same field it once was many years ago. But before that, I'm gonna have to go non-linear. In March of 2020, Blade ended up being painted like Pepe the Frog and woke up unhappy about it. This is how that night went. After receiving $500 to flip the RV, whether that means tip it over or turn the RV and drive the opposite way, I still don't know, and I don't think Blade and his group do either.
John donated $500. Here is $500. Shooter flip the RV around. I got Blade with another $500 cash when he gets here, and Shooter, I got you with $200.
We gotta flip the RV, dude. We gotta flip the RV, boys.
And the fans demand quite relentlessly for Blade to take 12 shots. Blade doesn't look too happy about this either. In fact, I'd go as far to say he looks defeated. Not just by this, but by everything. His living condition, the people he's around, and the lack of love. He's stuck in the RV with 24-hour cameras and fans that are forcing him to drink an excessive amount. Bear in mind, this is the same man who's more than likely going to have his leg amputated due to diabetes brought on by alcohol. After trying to tip some of the drink out of the bottle before he chugs it, a guy on the trip called Chicken Andy calls out Blade in front of everyone, calling him a scam unless he drinks 12 shots worth of alcohol. Unfortunately, I could only find this clip from Livestream Fails.
You owe me 12 shots. You owe me 12 shots. You owe me 12 shots. You owe me 12
Blade's gonna die.
shots. You owe me 12 shots.
kill me!
You owe me 12 shots. You owe me 12 shots. You owe me 12 shots. You owe me 12 shots.
And this is the reason I wanted to bring that up before I carry on with Blade's timeline. This exemplifies the kind of people Blade is surrounded with. Like everyone leeching off Ice, at this point, everyone is leeching off Blade's ragged popularity, enabling and encouraging him to drink every day. I genuinely believe that none of these people, apart from Bjorn, care about him. They're not friends, they're villains in their own right. And the people that donate to him are paying to watch a man drink himself into a grave. I've already said this, but Blade has faults of his own, severe and self-destructive faults. Blade wakes up pissed at Andy. It's not the prank that was wrong, it is everything before that. It's acts like this which create an environment for such degenerate behaviour, which eventually becomes normalised. They live in their own bubble. Back to 2019. These RV trips only cause more and more shit for Blade as they go on. Obviously, alcohol plays a big part in these trips, and the people enable Blade to get blackout drunk literally every night, and the viewers fucking love every moment of it. These trips definitely show Blade at his worst, and I don't mean that in the sense that he's embarrassing himself. I mean that in a much more cynical way. Blade becomes a bitter and foul person as the trips go on, with alcohol tipping him over the edge and becoming a vessel to let out these feelings. Blade starts a fight with his friends, shown in a video where he gets beaten up after starting a fight, and he continues his creepy nature towards women, but to an amplified extent. There are two cases which stood out to me and a lot of other people. The first where he asks this individual, "Have you ever been raped? Because you should be."
You've been raped. No. You should be.
And the sexual assault allegations. But Blade was about to have his already odious reputation crumble. OnlyUsemeBlade was involved in a scandal in late 2019. This was to do with Blade supposedly having sex with a streamer called Gucci's while she was passed out in the RV. Gucci's is also arguably an alcoholic who's known on the internet for being crazy. She basically goes around annoying people and streams it all. She also ends up becoming a part of the RV trip. Before passing out, one of the members decides to record her while she's on top of someone struggling to take her shirt off. This gives an idea of how smashed she is. This is also when Blade infamously asks Bjorn, "Should I have sex with Gucci's real quick?" To which a grotesquely shirtless Bjorn shrugs his shoulders. After this is where I'll have to crop the video. In the top of the frame you can see Blade getting into the same bed as Gucci's, and it looks like he's on top of her, making what looks like humping motions. Bjorn, who is streaming at this point, checks the bed a few times due to his chat being worried about Gucci's. I can't find the clip of this, so you'll have to just take my word for it. Blade says he's only sleeping, and that's where the sexual assault allegations come from, and this is where the fallout starts. First of all, the clip pops up all over Reddit and everyone talks about it. Critical, IRL moments, Mr. Metica, PKA, Tipster, and even Chris Hansen got involved, but we'll talk about that later. Then, the night after. Everyone that night drank heavily. Gucci's seemed conflicted about what happened. Everyone starts donating so that voice messages will play out loud in the RV. The messages are also divided. Some are trying to tell her that she got raped, others are trying to defend Blade. She starts saying that she got raped, and when people asked about it, she said her dad did it. After this, she tells Blade to prove it, and Bjorn starts to defend Blade by saying that everybody was worried about what was happening, so he checked up on both of them, and nothing was going on.
Okay, well, can any of us help you, or what's going on?
Address it?
What do you want to address? Sure.
You want to address it?
I mean, as long as you're okay, what's going on?
Let's address it. What's going on? What's going on, Gucci?
Come on, what's going on?
Yeah, let's address it. Let's address it right now.
I got raped.
What?
So just in case we are keeping track for the week as far WH shows having sex. Blade 0, Bone Clinks 0, Bam 0, Bjorn 1, Chicken Andy 1, Mexican
you talking
Andy
about last night?
1.
Wait, when?
Well, I got raped.
You're not talking about last night, are you?
This is for you, Bjorn.
When?
Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way.
No, hey, please come back.
I wish it was that easy.
Who was it? You say you got raped. Who was it?
My father.
Oh, okay.
My father. My father raped me.
Okay, well that's. I'm gonna take the camera off you because that's fucking horrible, and I'm sorry that happened.
That sucks.
I'm just kidding.
Wait, who raped you then?
No one.
No one? You said someone raped you then. Gucci's, I want to make sure you're okay.
It's not my place to say whether it did actually happen because I genuinely don't know. But if there's one thing I can gather from all these clips, it's that Blade and everyone else on the trip made a lot of money off this situation. Even though they weren't directly monetizing it, it begs the question, why didn't they turn off the stream? You have to ask yourself, if she's really drunk and saying that her dad raped her as a joke, wouldn't you think your obligation was to turn off the stream, and no one did? Later that night, during the heat of the moment, someone named Carol, who became a streamer after stalking Ice Poseidon, calls Gucci's and said that if she wanted to, she's welcome to go on their girls only RV trip. The guys get annoyed because Carol is making out that Blade raped her, so they react by calling her a racist after she said the N-word a while ago. Beyond says that Karen and the chat are manipulating her into believing that Blade raped her. The whole situation was very messy and wasn't handled in a good way at all. Gucci's decided to address it while drunk, which wasn't a good idea to begin with, and after that everyone starts to get tense. Meanwhile, there are constant messages playing in the background. No one handled it with the maturity or the sensitivity that it desperately needed. Gucci's and Blade end up kind of sorting it out after the night. The night after, everybody ends up at a fan's house. The crew takes rooms and the allegations are still on Gucci's mind. Gucci's tells the homeowner what she thinks happened, but everyone thinks the stream is turned off so you can't hear him talk about it. Bone Clinks, one of the RV members, is convinced that Blade did it and is unable to turn off Blade's stream, so he smashes Blade's phone. All this happened before Gucci's was taken to the police station so an investigation could take place. Blade went to the police station too, with some of the clips. As I said before, YouTubers like Critical made videos on what happened and brought the situation to light to audiences outside of the CX community. Weirdly, Scarce or Philip DeFranco didn't make a video on it, and all Keem had to say was this. Suddenly, for the first time since 2011, all eyes are on Blade again. Even though his intentions were probably in the right place, Chris Hansen did an interview with Blade discussing the allegations. Personally, I feel like this interview was unnecessary, but it gave Blade a larger platform to defend himself. Blade says that Gucci's didn't feel like she physically got raped that night, and he was happy that someone brought her to the police station because he would have wanted the exact same thing if it happened to him.
And then, as a joke, I admit saying this is all on stream, I was like, hey, should I go back there and have sex with her? It was clearly a joke. Bjorn went along with the joke, and I was just tired. All I wanted to do was get some sleep. That's a big bed. If you face from the RV looking at the bed, Gucci's is on the left in a blanket. I gather a blanket and I proceed to go to sleep, or at least attempt to go to sleep. She asked me what's going on? Why are people saying this stuff? And I go, they're trying to ruin my life. And I go, I asked her, did you feel like I inappropriately touched you? Do you feel like you got, I hate to use the word, but raped? And she's like, no, I don't feel anything like that. I just went to sleep.
A month after the whole thing blew up, Gucci's and Blade end up streaming a sober conversation between the two of them, discussing the whole situation. Gucci still feels conflicted on what happened, but agrees that she'll call it quits. Before that, though, this happens.
Denying that. Gucci's, I'm going to take a shot for you and the donations that have been coming in.
No, I don't want you to take a shot for me. Dude, we're all fucking alcoholics. I think, if anything, we should stream each other in AA meetings.
Danville is telling her what to say to stir up drama and pull his pathetic puppet master.
I already.
This girl is extremely mentally ill and being used.
Intervention, and we should all just fucking go in a group.
Okay.
Hello?
No, I'm still here.
Meanwhile, the chat are donating to Blade to tell her to cut off, due to the stream becoming boring. Gucci still wants to hang out with Blade and be kind of friends, but she doesn't want to get involved with his chat at all, probably because she knows how toxic they are. The RV crew was so invested in their make-believe lives, and their never-ending hunt for content was at an all-time high. Eventually, it caught up to them, like it did Blade. With open gashes all over his leg, Blade is left to defend himself while Gucci's, or Jessica, keeps going back and forth between the situation, saying nothing happened and then suggesting something did. The RV crew only talk to each other unless they want some free content, and it's that kind of separation from reality which is starting to have a very real impact on their actual lives. This is the thing with Blade. After everything that's happened, you would have thought that he's learned from his drunken mistakes. There has to be a point where you think to yourself, enough is enough. In my head, if the Gucci's incident wasn't an eye-opener of how self-destructive he is while drunk, I don't think anything will be. His legs are rotting away and he still drinks. I know that addiction is hard to break and alcoholism is a different beast and is separate to illegal drugs, but I don't think that Blade will ever stop drinking. I don't think he can. This is where Blade stands in April 2020. He's currently living with a girl called Becky, which his chat constantly harasses, going as far to bring up her dead husband who died in the army. He still drinks copious amounts of liquor, but he seems like he has a new favourite drink, Jack Daniels. Apart from that, nothing has changed, mainly due to the virus. He's lost Captain Content as a friend because Becky was seeing him first but Blade stole her from him. In my opinion, he's a clout chaser and is a very confused person to be messing around with someone as dangerous as Blade. I don't mean that as if he's violent or anything like that. There's just a lot of negative attention wherever he seems to step his foot. A lot of content creators have started talking about Blade and making videos dedicated to him. They all say one of two things, either talking about how evil of a person he is, or talking about how worried they are for his health. A lot of content creators are discussing the likelihood of him dying and trying to prevent this from happening, but to seemingly no avail. At the time of editing this, it is July of 2020. Blade has finally gone to the hospital, where the doctors said that if he doesn't stop drinking he'd lose his leg. Becky has helped him a lot. She has even hosted the streams while Blade was in the hospital. This didn't go well. Most people either called her a pig or said that they've been trying to kill Blade and she's stopping them. It also allowed the few actual fans to ask about his health and get some answers as to what's happening next. Blade says he'll put in the effort this time and not drink. If he does do drunk streams, he won't get smashed. Given his track record so far, most people have little faith in him, but maybe Becky can make him try harder. The last stream from editing this was on the 4th of July, where he's sitting on a sofa with two other guys and watched TV. Everyone called the stream boring. We will have to wait to see if Blade goes back to drinking, and if he doesn't, we'll have to see how this affects the quality and entertainment value. The fans of Blade don't see him as a real person anymore. This surreal life has tricked Blade and his fans into believing this character, and with a surreal life comes a lack of responsibility, because nobody will take what a character says seriously, when in reality all that does is blinds Brian and the RV crew and the fans from consequences. Consequences that they would later face, involving the dog, the groping, and the sexual assault allegations. Still, Brian plays into OnlyUsemeBlade because the tragedy of it is having nothing and being sober, or having a healthy and stable income while being drunk. The difference between Brian and Blade is no longer distinguishable. To conclude, Brian Rizzo has fully become OnlyUsemeBlade, a content creator who has adopted an extremely toxic audience from ICE and is slowly isolating himself from everyone around him. All his genuine friends have been replaced with clout chasers and leeches who exploit his addiction for their own benefit. PKA had Blade on as a guest where they spoke about the allegations, the dog incident, his brief time in jail, and everything else Blade related. He is still on the IP2 network, though he doesn't spend his time with ICE, and the CX clan has fallen apart due to ICE not wanting to be a part of it anymore and wanting an audience which isn't toxic. Blade seems to be slowing down, ever so slightly. Whether that is because of Becky, Corona, or self-reflection, we'll have to find out. Blade is an example of someone who hasn't been able to adapt with passing trends and relevant subjects. Instead, he's fallen into a very niche genre of streaming, and one which is filled with unstable people. A life where everyone wears a mask and becomes a 24-hour character until it consumes them. Brian lives in an alternate reality, filled with characters, and accepts it because it means that he doesn't have to face up to the responsibilities that life bears. Word on how his mother feels about her son is unknown.
You know, and every time I do it, there's some post on something, or the guys over at PKA are saying, "Oh my God, look what this dude did." And, you know, there's all these gifs going around of some stupid shit that I did when I was drinking, and I don't want to be that guy. You know, all my friends have gotten girlfriends and gotten married, and they're starting to have kids and are owning houses and being adults, and I'm still in kid mode. So now that you know all that stuff, you guys probably knew that, or a gist of it, or whatever. And also I want to make sure that I never drink because I'm having a bad day. It's not a depressant. I drink because I like to party, because getting really, really, really fucked up is fun as shit for me. The problem is I keep on going. Like, if there's like this, if this is my happy center, it's like, poke, okay, that feels good. Let's just fucking keep on poking, and then it's like, ah. Alright, so now you know. Now what do? We just fucking knock it the fuck off. That's it.